Carla Gray, resident astronaut on the spaceship Achilles, whisks us away on a journey into her past with tales of her life on a dying Earth. Seeking solace in familial ties, she, her mother, and her daughter had strived to find joy amid the dire condition of their home planet. Carla draws upon the recollection of a significant event, the final familial rendezvous by the sea. The memory of a story shared by her mother is vivid in her recollections. The tale narrates the predicament of 5 men in a small boat, stranded at sea with provisions only for 3. Her mother had asked her to deduce who among the 5 should perish for the survival of the rest. Carla believes the memory of her mother's solution remains with her, yet she is unable to decrypt the reason behind her mother sharing such a fatalistic tale. An accident that transpired a few hours after that took away Carla's mother and daughter, leaving her in solitude. Currently, Carla and the other crew members, Tez, Ulf, Sean, and Sai, are in a dormant state on their spacecraft, the Achilles. The unusual twist is that Sai, a blogger, tagged along merely to document their voyage. Carla stirs from her slumber ahead of the rest. After catching an elevator up to her cabin, she finds herself surrounded by reminders of her departed loved ones. Their mission is to inspect the enigmatic black formation that had mysteriously come into existence in proximity to Mars. Upon meeting Captain Sen in the command cabin, Carla inquires about any fresh insights gained since being closer to the baffling orb. Despite their scanner's ability to penetrate through entire planets, they had not managed to unveil anything about the black entity. Even though the colossal riddle that the orb presented rendered their data and efforts futile, their CEO, Vance, through a holographic intervention, implored them to press on and find other means to crack its mystery. The world was holding its breath in anticipation of the revelation. In the meantime, they were encouraged to reconnect with their families via the comfort of their cabins with their AI system, Ms., ready to take over the ship's helm. In her quarters, Carla spots an unidentified beam of light emanating from the mysterious dark sphere, striking the Achilles spaceship with such force that all communication link with Earth is severed. Carla, searching for answers, inquires Ms. about the unidentified light incident. Nonetheless, the data is non-revealing. Once more, Sen commands the crew to maintain their trajectory towards the mysterious sphere, leaving Carla in wonderment. As a transmission from the sphere to the ship commences, Carla intercepts the signal. The repeated word Deus, Latin for God, forms the sole content of the decoded message. C enters a state of panic and requests an immediate return, triggering a debate among the crew members. Carla, baffled, confronts the adamant Sen about the urgency of their situation. Meanwhile, Sai confides in Carla about hearing unsettling voices and senses impending judgment, increasing the dread. A discussion takes place among Sean, Carla, and Ulf, with Sen keeping a watchful eye through his surveillance equipment. The question, whether the sphere is possibly divine, strikes fear in the hearts of the crew. Alf suggests the only way to know for sure is to further their investigation and destroy the sphere if it's a threat. Shortly afterwards, all crew members are summoned to the command cabin. Amidst all this, Carla hears her daughter's voice, and simultaneously C hears other voices. Ulf and Carla are informed by Tez that C has become unhinged and retreated further into the spaceship, necessitating a search. Upon finding C, they witness him performing a bizarre ritual of inflicting self-wounds and carving symbols onto his body. As Carla approaches the site, she stumbles upon C murdering Tez. As C takes Carla captive, Ulf is alerted by her scream. A demand is made by C to change the spaceship's course, with Ulf and Carla suggesting they can convince Sen. C, however, warns them about Sen's hidden agenda. As Sen arrives on the scene, C is abruptly shot in the head. A chilling command is then given by Sen to Alf to dispose of all the corpses. As Tez, Sai, Sen, and Carla journey to the spaceship's bow. Sen's unconcern about the unfolding events strikes as peculiar. A dialogue arises about the mysterious sphere, Sen declaring it claims to be a divine entity. Skeptical, Carla expresses her disbelief, while Sen provocatively accuses her of fright regarding their mission, reminding her that the world is watching. Upon reaching the sphere, they comedically decouple the smaller module from the dominant Achilles ship and set foot on the sphere. During the landing, Carla discerns the existence of a structure on the sphere. Finally, they manage to reopen communication with Earth, and Vance, one of their comrades, reports that similar structures to the one Carla observed are spontaneously appearing across Earth, mystifying scientists. Sen instructs Carla and Ulf to venture out and examine the structure more attentively, and upon Sean's insistence, he too joins the party, being the only other scientist on board. The trio begins their sphere exploration. Remarkably, Carla finds that the sphere is composed of an unknown element not mentioned in the periodic table, and assesses that the structure is a gateway of sorts. Suddenly, a light emerges from the gateway, revealing a woman that bears a striking resemblance to Carla's daughter. Mysterious signals radiate from the sphere, and Ms. has the laborious job of translating and feeding them to Carla. This apparition bids them welcome, claiming to speak on behalf of the Creator, the Alpha and Omega of existence. She states that humanity stands at a crossroads, inviting them to pass through the gate in peaceful reunion with their Creator. She asks Carla to cross over and bear witness to the truth that waits on the other side. Upon inquiry about the fate of those who deny entrance, she bleakly warns that the sphere harbors a black hole's event horizon, edging closer to Earth and threatening destruction. The woman tells Carla that she has permission to enter through the gate, and the woman morphs into the likeness of her mother. Overcome with emotion, Carla steps into the gate and finds herself in an idyllic green field backed by a dazzling golden city, greeted by her daughter. They rush one another, but their reunion is cut short, the vision ending abruptly. In a pitiful state upon their spacecraft, Carla regains consciousness. Eager to understand what occurred, she questions Ulf, who relays that she was barely holding herself upright upon exiting the gate. Hence his need to bear her back to the ship. Her eye catches the absence of Sean, to which Ulf abruptly responds with his unfortunate death. Shortly after, a call from Vance interrupts, insinuating the world's anticipation to hear of Carla's gate escapade. As memories vividly unfold, she abruptly halts mid-narration, perturbed by a somewhat mocking expression across Sen's face. The recollection of her daughter remains unspoken. Both Vance and Sen advise her to take some time to recuperate before leaving. Yet her sparked curiosity about Sean's fate prompts her to confront Ulf once again. He attributes Sean's death to a malfunction in his suite, but Carla remains skeptical. A lurking need drives her towards the sphere, but she's met with opposition from Ulf, who informs her of a homeward journey being organized. Both perturbed and bewildered by the lack of definitive answers, Carla is sternly led to her quarters by Ulf. A moment devoid of prying eyes affords her the opportunity to query Carla's reticence during her encounter narration. She subtly suggests that Vance and Sen already possessed insight into her vision beyond the gate, compelling her retelling for camera purposes, yet she remains uncertain of their intention. Upon her inspection of Sean's suit, the absence of rupture validates her earlier suspicion, increasing her resolve. Risking all, she infiltrates Sen's cabin, seizing a weapon and confidential documents. A confrontation with Ulf ensues, uncovering his history as a distinguished soldier on Earth and his current role as a peacekeeper employed by Vance. Carla is quick to draw a connection between Ulf and Sen's untimely death. The situation intensifies as Carla holds both Sen and Ulf at gunpoint, demanding transparency. Vance reappears, implying that she holds the answers they seek, referencing her heavenly encounters beyond the gate. The pivotal moment prompts millions to pursue gatewalking on Earth. sends ill-fated attack on Carla, ends with him dead by her gun, although she sustains an injury. Ulf's life hangs in the balance, but he persuades her of his change of heart, expressing a shared desire for uncovering the truth. Carla yearns to revisit the sphere against the odds of Vance's control over Ms. Ulf's revelation that he possesses a code to override Ms. provides a glimmer of hope, despite the necessary sacrifice of much of the ship for manual navigation. Their return to Earth seems implausible without the majority of the spacecraft, but Ulf insists on the smaller module's capability, albeit a prolonged 6-year journey. With a new plan in mind, Carla makes her next move. Vance eventually admits to a startled Carla that the sphere she's been investigating is in fact not an alien construct, but a fabrication by humans. This device, crafted from a self-replicating substance that allows it to easily build enormous edifices, is composed of the same material used for the gates on Earth. His elaborate scheme was sparked by the imminent death of Earth due to a burgeoning population. The sphere has an event horizon, and everything that's been happening was designed to convince Earth's residents to voluntarily enter the gates, effectively committing suicide. Vance planned to exploit religious fervor to persuade billions towards this end, thus drastically decreasing the population size. Once a manageable population is achieved, the sphere would be demolished in a premeditated military assault. In a shocking twist, Vance reveals that the voices Carla had been hearing, those of her deceased mother and daughter, were manipulated by a microchip implanted in her brain following her accident. It allowed Vance control of her senses and perceptions. This alarming manipulation even extended to her sightings of her family at the gate. All this was part of Vance's grand plan to present the world with a scientist who'd discovered God, thus making the scenario appear more genuine. From this, Carla concludes that Vance most likely orchestrated her family's fatal accident, a claim he doesn't counter. When Carla recites to Vance a parable her mother had once told of 5 people trapped at sea with supplies for just 3, Vance presumes this indicates her acceptance of his plan. Instead, Carla negates his assumption, echoing her mother's ethos of seeking alternate survival solutions and allowing everyone the chance at their own destiny. She refrains from endorsing the notion of anyone playing God. Meanwhile, Ulf fetches another drained core with plans to use it to annihilate the sphere. In an act of desperation, Vance orders Ms. to trigger the ship's self-destruction, but Carla effectively thwarts this using Ulf's override code. She detaches the smaller module of the ship as Ulf arrives in the nick of time. However, they face a crude reality. The smaller module can't remotely detonate the core. They must do so manually on the sphere's surface, signing their death warrants. Upon reaching the sphere, Ulf exits and locks Carla within. He orders her to return to Earth and expose the truth of everything that's occurred. Reluctantly, Carla consented, and the module took off with her inside just as Ulf triggered the core, obliterating the sphere and himself in his heroic act of sacrifice. The journey back to Earth for Carla is estimated to take 7 years. A challenging and solitary voyage lay ahead. The narrative ends on this poignant note.